Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Midlands online worship service. I would like to acknowledge that today is Easter and tell you how invested in Easter I was. I was trying to find Emberine's phone number, and I called a friend of hers from Interfaith Friends who is a Christian, and I said, I cannot find Emberine. Do you have her phone number? And she said, well, I have a number for her. And I told her I was looking for somebody to speak on the 4th. And this woman said, well, that's Easter, you know. And there was silence on my side because I had no idea it was Easter. And that's really the first time that's ever happened. And I want to apologize to all the Christians and say, it's Easter and we have a lovely Muslim woman here to speak with us. And we're happy. If you haven't already, please type into the chat box who you are and who you brought with you today. Unitarian Universalism is a welcome and inclusive religion. It encourages us to keep open hearts and minds because our own experience, conscience, and reason are the final authorities for religion. It affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every individual, and that all of us are connected to each other and to the earth. If you are visiting us today, a special welcome to you. We appreciate your spending some of your Sunday morning with us. If you have any questions, please let us know in the chat box, by phone, or through the Facebook page. If you've been attending for some time and have come to feel that this is your spiritual home and that you are considering becoming a member of the fellowship, please contact our minister, Reverend Eric Severson, our office administrator, Wendy, or let us know of your intent in the chat box. If you call this week, you can leave a message. We are checking messages. If you have a chalice or a candle at home and would like to join us in lighting our chalice today, now would be a good time to get that ready. We will be including joys and sorrows this morning, as we normally do during the service. You will want to find the participant icon along probably the bottom of your screen to raise your hand figuratively in that. And now we'll move on to announcements. You will see them on your screen and I will read them quickly to you. We will see them on our screen. There we go. Beautiful. Next week's service will be Becoming, led by Reverend Eric Severson. Michelle Obama, in her book Becoming, asks, who are we and who do we want to become? We will explore insights from her writings and consider how we might answer that question. Happy Easter! If you would like to look for Easter eggs on the slides, please feel free to count how many you can find. Along those lines, there is no virtual religious education class today. Our next class is Sunday, April 11th at 1 p.m. Our virtual serendipity auction, Night at the Museum, will be held on May 15th. Proceeds benefit UUFOM and the Home to Stay Housing Assistance Center, which is a wonderful, wonderful asset to our city. To donate an auction item, register it online by April 18th, that's coming up, at bit.ly/serendipity auction 2021, or speak with an auction team member for assistance. The UUFOM COVID-19 Task Force is looking at ways we can safely reopen. One metric they are looking at is the percentage of congregants who have received their vaccination. If you've been vaccinated, please contact Maxine Gutler and get your name in the numbers. If you have any pictures or content for our new website, please send them to office@uufom.org. Don't forget to fill out your photo release form. If you would like a paper copy of the photo release media, of the photo video media release, UUFOM directory, or any other form mailed or dropped off to you, please contact Wendy at office@uufom.org or 631-1162. That's 989-631-1162, and leave a message. We are checking messages. We've been coordinating with a number of UU congregations to bring you a virtual Easter egg hunt. The UU Virtual Easter Egg Hunt 2021 went live Saturday, April 3rd. Follow the link in last week's candle flame to join in. After today's service, please go to uufom.org Sunday feedback and provide feedback for today's service. That's essential for us. We hope you're happy, but we need to know what makes you happy and what makes you less than happy. Watch your email for more announcements in our Candle Flame newsletter. During the spring months, the newsletter will be circulated on Fridays. If you wish to be added to our newsletter list or have any questions about any of these announcements, email Wendy at office@uufom.org. We are celebrating Birthday Sunday today. Happy birthday to us all. A great way to become something is to have a birthday. Today is Birthday Recognition Sunday. If you have had or will have a birthday in April, or we missed yours in March, or you're just feeling lonely and would like to say hi, please raise your hand in the participant area of your screen or type your birth date in the chat box. Connie will acknowledge you by name. Oh dear, I gotta push buttons here.
Good morning, everyone. Does anyone have a birthday?
I would like to announce that April Summer had a birthday this March, a few days ago, and she turned 107. And I'd like to wish her a happy birthday, and I hope you all can too. She's not really 107.
Happy birthday. And also, we have Suzanne Peterson, who will be celebrating her birthday on April 13th. Any other birthdays? You
Speak
can't
now or forever. Oh, here we go.
All right, so we've got Patricia Callahan, who had a birthday just this past March 31st. Happy birthday. And today is Denise Reiling's birthday. Happy birthday, Denise. All right. Well, for everybody with a birthday, we'd like to serenade you with song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everyone. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, everybody. If you have a candle or a chalice at home and would like to light it now, please do. Join us in reading our chalice lighting words today by the Reverend Scott Taylor. In the soft light of this flame, may our lives shimmer anew. May we notice new possibility in those relationships that have seemed lost. May the turning of season give birth to a dream. May the emerging light pull a new story into view. May what is give way to what might be. May we believe again in the world we imagine. And Melanie will light our chalice for us. Thank you, Melanie. Our opening words today are Siddhartha's Awakening from Spirit and Practice. Young Prince Siddhartha had been raised in complete luxury. His life had been so arranged that he knew no suffering, no lack, no want. So when he first encountered suffering in the form of a sick person, an old person, and a dying person, he was determined to find its cause and its solution. For 6 years, he endured the most extreme self-denial the Hindu tradition of his day encouraged. Eventually, he sat himself down beneath the Bodhi tree, determined to remain in deep meditation until he solved the problem of suffering. For 6 days he sat, and then he had an awakening through which he saw the deep truth of reality. He entered a state of perfect oneness and bliss, nirvana. And he was tempted to remain in this state, for there was no suffering, there was no struggle, there was no sorrow, there was no strife. But what good would it do for him to have found the solution to merely his own life's suffering? What would be the result of his determination if he alone attained nirvana while all other beings suffered on? Siddhartha roused himself and stood. It was the beginning of a new day, and there was much work to be done. We have an opening hymn. With your mics muted, please join Melanie and Sandy in singing our opening hymn, Rise Up, O Flame, music by Christopher Pretorius, author of the words is anonymous.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Rise up, O flame.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
Amen. Beautiful, you two. Thank you both. Our story for all ages today is The Seedling. This is from UUA.org's religious education material. This is a guided meditation. It's not necessarily for kids. So if those of you who are semi-children would like to sit back and relax and play along with us, that would be great. Those of you who are kids, you will probably like this. I'm hoping you will. Okay, everybody. Take a few seconds to pay attention to your breath. Breathe in slowly. And allow the breath to fill your lungs and make your body rise. And then breathe out slowly. But try to be quieter than I am. Feel your body relaxing. As you breathe in and out, the relaxation spreads throughout your body, starting with your toes and moving up through your legs and into your hips and up into your chest and back and arms. Relax your face and neck. Your whole body is completely comfortable and relaxed. And magically, you begin to sprout and grow. What does it feel like to grow? You are changing. What is it you are becoming? What does your new body look like? What things are you able to do? Can you fly? Can you sing like a bird? Can you burrow down deep in the earth like a worm? Or are you shiny and sparkling like a bright star in the sky? Imagine you're moving around in a safe place where you were planted. What do you do? What are you doing right now if you're a star? Are you crackling and burning and putting light in front of everyone? If you're a worm, are you digging through the earth and looking for little pieces of food and meeting your friends and hanging out? When you're ready, imagine yourself changing again. Now you're turning back into yourself. You are again the person that you were born to be. I'm going to count backward from 10. When I get to the number 1, you can open your eyes and rejoin our group. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. I'd like you all to center yourselves for a moment and enter into time for into a time for reflection. Today's reflection is Awakening to Possibility by the Reverend Sarah Laval, and that's used by Soul Matters Secured. Spirit of life and love and holy sacred, how do we pray for an awakening? How do we bow down or look up or sit in silence or walk among the trees to make our hope come alive when it feels beyond our grasp? We breathe, we look within, we look without, we listen, we reach out, we hold in the depth of our heart that knowing, that hope is a gift we cannot destroy. It is the heartbeat always stirring within us. It is the becoming, the awakening to possibility. It is the unfolding of faith in action. May we hold our hope and carry it for one another and for this broken and hurting world. May we be vessels of comfort and compassion. May we be vessels of peace and justice. May we be vessels of hope and healing. May love prevail. Please repeat after me. May we be vessels of hope and healing. Thank you. May love prevail. In the name of all that is sacred, we pray, so let it be. We have another reading. This is by Anonymous. I really like this poem. I'm afraid of nearly everything, by Anonymous. I'm afraid of nearly everything, of darkness, of hunger, of war, of children mutilated and ignored. But most of all, I'm afraid of what I might become. I might become reconciled to injustice. I might become resigned to fear and despair. I might be lulled into a life of apathy. Unchain my hope, make me strong. Help me do those things. Stretch me toward the impossible, that I may work for what ought to be, that the hungry may be fed, that the enslaved may be freed, that the suffering may be comforted, and that peace may finally be accomplished. This is weird. We now have an interlude played for us by Melanie. is Zekeli Alice, a traditional Transylvanian blessing, music by Elizabeth Horton, and music by Melanie Willison. We have the words here, but this is an instrumental. Beautiful, Melanie. Beautiful. Well, now we get to hear what you have been waiting for. Umberine Jamil is here today from the Midland Islamic Center. I am very happy that she's here. Umberine is one of those women at the center who sort of runs the place, and she also teaches high school and early college age religious education. She has 3 kids of her own who are in college at Central Michigan University, and she has another one at home in elementary school. Surprise! And I know that she went to school at Kent State, and she has a master's, I believe, but she doesn't have a master's, but she has a lot of other stuff. So it's the same thing, only different. So I'd like to introduce Umberine, who has lived here in Midland for 20 years, and she's part of us. And she will speak today on the Muslim religion, on how we need to interconnect with each other in our faiths, and how that can help us become better people. Umberine, it's all yours.
Thanks, Amy. Respected members of the congregation, I am humbled and honored to be with you this morning. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with you some of my reflections on God, service to others, and our interfaith community here in Midland. My wish is that your biggest takeaway from today's reflections is a deepened desire to serve your community. As a Muslim, our religion weighs heavily on the importance of service to others. Faith alone is not sufficient. While believing in Allah, which is the Arabic word for God, His prophets, His books, and His angels, is obligatory and the foundation of what it means to be a Muslim, These beliefs must be meshed together with practices. Faith must be brought into action. Our faith teaches us to love God's creation. One of the sayings of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessings be on him, is as follows: none of you will believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. To love God is to love his creation. As a side note, let me quickly mention that when Muslims say the names of any of the prophets, whether it be Adam, Moses, Jesus, or Muhammad, we always follow their name by saying peace be upon them, or may God's peace and blessings be on him. It is a way for us to demonstrate our immense love and respect for all the prophets sent to us by God to teach us and guide us. As a Muslim child, we are at a very young age taught what we refer to as the 5 pillars of Islam. So we all know what pillars do, right? They give support to a structure and they hold it up. So if we are to stand up as faithful practicing Muslims, we are asked to uphold the 5 important pillars of Islam. So let me quickly mention all 5, and then I'll delve deeper into 2 of the pillars, since I believe it is these 2 that were my earliest introduction to the concept of service to others. So the first pillar of Islam is the proclamation of faith. It's very simple to say that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the last and final messenger of God. The second pillar is prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day in the direction of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The third pillar is fasting during the Islamic month of Ramadan, which actually happens to be April 13th this year, the first day. Our fasting entails not eating or drinking from sun up to sundown during the 30 days of Ramadan. The fourth pillar is zakah. Zakah means to give charity to those in need. And finally, the last pillar of Islam is Hajj, which is the once in a lifetime pilgrimage to the Kaaba in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. So the pillars of fasting and charity were my earliest introduction to the concept of service to others. Let's talk first about fasting. Fasting is not just a fruitless exercise in depriving our body of food and water all day. It has multiple, deeper meanings. Firstly, it is supposed to bring us closer to God, to improve our relationship with the Creator, and to sharpen our sense of duty and obligation to Him. Along with fasting comes more time spent praying and supplicating. We strive to heighten our sense of God consciousness during the blessed days and nights of Ramadan. Second, fasting is supposed to remind us of our fellow brothers and sisters in humanity who may be suffering, those who are needy, vulnerable, and in desperate need of our help. What better way to truly understand what it means to be food insecure than to actually experience what it feels like? What better way to empathize with those that struggle to acquire clean drinking water than to experience the thirst that they do? We attempt to walk in the footsteps of the most vulnerable so that we can remind ourselves of how blessed we are and how so many around us are suffering. Ramadan is a time for us to remind ourselves that we are interconnected to each other. We are like one human body. And when one part of the body is in distress, then the whole body will resonate with pain and feel the effects. In one of his sayings, Muhammad, peace and blessings be on him, said, "The parable of the believers in their affection, mercy, and compassion for each other is that of a body. When any limb aches, the whole body reacts with sleeplessness and fever." Let's move on to zakah. Zakah, or charity, is another pillar of Islam that is based on the premise that our role on earth is to be vicegerents of God. In order to obey God, we must fulfill our important role, which is to take care of the planet Earth and its inhabitants. God says in the Quran, which is the blessed and holy scripture that Muslims believe to be the word of God, it is He who has made you His agents, inheritors of the earth. He has raised you in rank, some above others, that He may try you in the gifts that He has given you. For thy Lord is quick in punishment, yet He is indeed oft forgiving and most merciful. We are instructed to be caretakers of the planet and all of its inhabitants, humans, animals, all life. One way in which Muslims fulfill this obligation is through giving zakah. Zakah is an Arabic word which means to purify. Muslims are obligated to give 2.5% of their wealth over a certain amount in charity every year. This, of course, is not meant to be a burden on those who are poor. Rather, it is a way for Muslims to help those that are needy. We are encouraged to purify our wealth and our souls. By giving in charity, we not only help those in need, but probably more importantly, we strive to cleanse ourselves of undesirable characteristics like hatred, jealousy, selfishness, and greed. What is important for us to remember, however, is that while zakah refers to the monetary charity that Muslims must give if able to, charity in Islam does not refer to only monetary contributions. Muslims believe that charity comes in many different forms. There are several sayings of Muhammad that clearly explain this idea. The Prophet said, "Your smile for your brother is a charity. Your removal of stones, thorns, or bones from the paths of people is a charity. Your guidance of a person who is lost is a charity." Another saying of the Prophet is as follows: "A charity is due for every joint in each person on every day the sun comes up. To act justly between two people is a charity. To help a man with his mount, lifting him onto it, or hoisting up his belongings onto it is a charity. A good word is a charity. And removing a harmful thing from the road is a charity." So service to humanity is an obligation for all Muslims. God says in the Quran again, "The virtuous are those who, despite their love for it, give away their wealth to their relatives and to orphans and the very poor, and to travelers, and those who ask for charity, and to set slaves free, and who attend their prayers and pay the alms, and who keep their pledges when they make them, and who show patience in hardship and adversity and in times of distress. Such are the true believers, such are the God-fearing." Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whosoever removes a worldly grief from a believer, Allah will remove from him one of his grievances on the day of judgment. Whoever alleviates the lot of a destitute person, Allah will alleviate his lot in this world and in the next. Whosoever conceals the faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his faults in this world and the next. Allah will aid a servant of his so long as a servant aids his brother." To be a Muslim, then, is to serve God, and service to God is achieved in many ways, one of which is service to humanity. The importance of service to humanity, however, is not unique to Islam. In fact, all three Abrahamic faiths hold this to be a central tenet of their religion. In Judaism, the belief in tzedakah, or justice, is very important. And the commandment of tzedakah focuses heavily on helping the poor. Another important Jewish belief is tikkun olam, which refers to healing and repairing the world. In the Christian tradition, there is a strong emphasis on giving to the poor. Many Christians still look to the tithe, giving 1/10 of one's income as a commandment from God. In the New Testament, Jesus talks about giving to the poor. And so, as members of all faiths are called to serve others, it is vital that we take it a step further and that we come together as one family to help those in need. While this is sometimes difficult to do in larger cities due to artificially imposed boundaries that individual faith communities find themselves within, in Midland, we are privileged in a way. Our situation is quite the contrary. In Midland, we are able to step out of our individual realms of comfort and join a bigger group to achieve our greater collective goal, to help those who need it and to make our community more safe and secure for everyone. Before I get into my interfaith efforts here in Midland, let's quickly talk about the virtues of interfaith work. Why is it important for individuals of different faiths and backgrounds to join forces? Well, there are many reasons. Let's go through a few. First, interfaith work forces us to engage in dialogue with those that are different from us. And through this dialogue, we have the opportunity to learn from each other. Fear of others is usually a product of ignorance. Ignorance leads to fear, which can lead to hate. So the challenge we have is to chip away at the ignorance the best that we can. Unfortunately, we live in troubling times where the spread of inaccurate information via the internet especially is rampant. We have an uphill battle to combat all the mistruths, the stereotypes, and the blatant lies that circulate around us. Interfaith dialogue can help to promote diversity and establish a more tolerant community. Second, coming together as an interfaith group makes us a stronger, more cohesive community. There is strength in numbers. We can surely accomplish a lot more together than we can individually. And finally, coming together as an interfaith community can lead to greater interfaith harmony. We live in difficult times with so many political and economic woes challenging us every day. Interfaith work can lead to peace and prosperity in a community. So when Midland Area Interfaith Friends was established in January of 2016, it was meant to be an organization that brought together people of all faiths so that they could learn more about each other, fight the ignorance. While that objective still holds true, the group has grown into so much more. It has strengthened what is a very important mission: to serve others. Our initial service projects involved holding blood and bone marrow drives and volunteering at soup kitchens and resale shops. Bigger projects followed, such as developing the Midland County Foster Closet. And then finally, the dam failures in May of 2019 brought upon us the largest interfaith project thus far, the Sanford Rebuild Project. multiple faith institutions stepped forward to offer money and time to help their neighbors in Sanford recover from the flood. While Midland Area Interfaith Friends spearheaded these efforts, they would have been non-existent had the various local faith institutions and their dedicated, devoted members not stepped forward to support the project. The Sanford project turned into something much bigger than any of the organizers ever imagined. What started out as helping families impacted by the flood by digging out their basements and distributing brown bag lunches quickly snowballed into so much more. As an interfaith community, we raised close to $120,000 in monetary donations, along with several $1,000s worth of in-kind donations. Each dollar donated was spent on deserving families. As an interfaith community, we helped over 100 families. And perhaps one of our greatest achievements as an interfaith community was orchestrating the building and furnishing of a new home for a Sanford resident. We thought that we were done helping our friends in Sanford, but community service, you're never done. And so currently, we find ourselves in the midst of another huge project, Project Vernon Rebuild. And so we come together once again to raise approximately $60,000, and we're halfway there, more than halfway actually, in order to help a gentleman with cognitive disabilities and other health issues return to his home after the flood. Ecumenism is the concept of bringing various Christian denominations together in the spirit of unity and cooperation. In essence, this is what Midland Area Interfaith Friends attempts to do. But of course, we bring together people of all faiths, not just Christianity. Interfaith dialogue and cooperation aims to promote tolerance and respect and foster love and understanding between different faiths. We don't have to agree with one another on all religious teachings. But what we do agree on, we agree on wholeheartedly. And it's a very basic, simple, straightforward tenet that service to community is an obligation upon all of us, regardless of race, religion, gender, or creed. Let me close with another beautiful saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be on him. He said, "The best of people are those that bring the most benefit to the rest of mankind." So he didn't say who bring the most benefit just to Muslims or Christians or Jews or people of no faith or people of their own faith. He said to the rest of mankind. May we be of those people that work together in peace to bring benefit to our community. May we learn and grow from each other. May we work diligently together here in Midland to help those in need. May our beautiful Midland community become a shining example for other communities of what is possible if we join forces in love. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you very much. We now have an offertory hymn, Dauna Naish, words by Samir Badri, music by Ted Wormbrand. This is translated from the Arabic, and Melanie will play it for us. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. We affirm the work of this fellowship and its mission with our time, our talent, and our treasure. We continue to rely on you paying your pledges and providing what you would otherwise drop in the collection plate. Please give as generously as you can. May you give what you can, and may what you give bring you joy. Thank you for your generosity. We now have a closing hymn by Natalie Sleeth. Sandy and Melanie will sing now for us. Please turn on your mutes. And if you know this, you can sing along at home. It will sound familiar to you.
Go now in peace.
Go now in peace.
May the love of God surround you
Everywhere
everywhere.
you may go.
Go now in peace.
Go now in peace.
May the love of God surround you
Everywhere
everywhere.
you may go.
Go now in peace.
Go now in peace.
May the love of God surround you
Everywhere
everywhere.
you may go.
Thank you very much, Melanie and Sandy. That was lovely. Melanie is going to help us extinguish the chalice today. Our closing words are Thirsty by Gregory Pelly. And so we have gathered from the ebb and flow of our lives, thirsty for connection to ourselves, thirsty for connection to others, thirsty for connection to the larger life. As we move back into our slowly mending lives, may all who have gathered here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love for others. Here may we be filled so that we may pour ourselves out into the new world. Go in peace. Thank you to everybody who helped make this service possible today. Thank you for the patience of Sarah and of Connie and of Melanie and of everyone who worked really hard to put these things on every week. And especially I want to thank Umberine, who has given us a lot of food for thought. And I'm hoping that we will be able to, some of us will feel comfortable joining with her, and that we can continue to make Midland a better place to live. And thank you all for joining us today. We invite you to stay and chat if you can. Whatever you may encounter in the coming week, please know that the love of this community and its members goes with you. Until we are together again, many blessings on you.